Well, hello there, grade 4 and 5. Glad you could join me for some ELA. Today we are going to be reading through an article about giraffes. We're going to learn some facts about giraffes, then we're going to practice pulling those facts out of the passage and putting them into to help us answer some questions. I go through it step by step. You are welcome to do this in your class notebook. So if you go into your assignments tab today, you will see that this is an assignment for today that's been assigned to you. If you'd like to try to do it on the class notebook, you can give it a try. And what happens is you do your assignment and then you hand it in to me, and then it'll keep it all for you in a notebook. So you'll have a math section and an ELA section, and then you'll see all of your work. And you will also be able to see my comments on your work right there. So for some of you, if you're feeling like I send off my work into a message, I can't keep track of what comments Mrs. Oakes is making, what I'm getting back, I'm not sure what I've even handed in. If you're having a hard time keeping track, this is an option for you. I have you in mind because I know that if I was in your shoes, that would be me. I like to have my notebook where I can go back and make sure I can see all my work. So I got this set up for you and I hope that it's helpful. Again, not necessary. If you're someone who is in a house where there's not a lot of devices and you do a lot of your work on the paper, or you just prefer that, then do it. That's great too. There is no right way to do this, but just so you know, that is an option, and I will talk about that at our ELA meeting today, perhaps explain how that works. Anyway, let's get started with our ELA. Okay, so you should have this page here. This might be a bit of a longer video, so feel free to break this activity up over as many hours or days as you need. You can always break it up, or you can get it done all at once. It is up to you. So we're going to read this. I hope you can read on the screen. It's a little bit better. So it's called this is from the Harmony Zoo Times, and the book, or the title, is Animal Skyscrapers. So the title right away tells us something about these. They're making a comparison between a giraffe and a skyscraper, and if you think about it, a giraffe is really tall, and so is a skyscraper. A skyscraper is a really tall building. All right, so this is a little bit different. When you read in columns, you read down the column, and then you come back up to the top. Okay, so we're going to read all the way down to the bottom of the page, and then we go back up to the top and read down. It is different than how you're used to reading, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So, giraffes are the tallest living land animals in the world today. The height of female giraffes averages about 14 to 16 feet, and that's 4.5 to 5 meters. And males average 16 to 18 feet, or 5 to 6 meters. Giraffes weigh from about 1,800 to 3,000 pounds. That's 810 to 1,360 kilograms. These peaceful giants have necks that are 6 to 8 feet, and this is in meters, 1 3/4 to 2.5 meters long, where the neck joins the head. There is a special joint the giraffe can use to lift its head so that it's in a straight line with its neck. I'm just going to move this down a bit. Okay, so try to imagine that. It can move its head so it's a straight line with its neck. The head, when pointing straight up, adds another 2 feet, 60 centimeters, to the height of the giraffe. Even though the giraffe's neck is longer than the necks of other animals, it has only 7 vertebrae. So those are the little bones in your neck. You have little vertebrae in your neck. Its neck only has 7 vertebrae, 7 little bones. That is the same number of neck bones that humans have. So yours are tiny. So if you take your finger right now and you try to feel very gently your bones in your neck, so if you put your hand on the back of your neck, you can kind of feel the bones in your neck. You have the same number of bones as a giraffe does. I'm guessing theirs are just a lot bigger. The giraffe's legs are twice as long as its bodies. The front legs of the giraffe are longer than the back legs. The giraffe's back slopes downward slightly from the shoulders to the back of the legs. With these extraordinary legs, a giraffe can walk 10 miles, which is 16 kilometers, in an hour, because they have such long, extraordinary legs. Okay. When it's in a hurry, it can gallop at speeds up to 35 miles, 56 kilometers an hour. The head and neck move back and forth when the giraffe walks and runs, which is why this tall animal balances which helps, the head and neck move back and forth when the giraffe walks and runs, which helps this tall animal balance itself and move more quickly. A giraffe's heart must work hard to pump blood up its neck up its neck to the brain. The heart that does all of this work is about 2 feet long. So it's like 2 of your rulers. So we have those rulers at school. Imagine 2 of those put together, and that is about how wide the heart is. And it weighs about 24 pounds or 11 kilograms. The blood vessels in the brain and special valves in the arteries in the neck control the flow of blood so that it doesn't rush to its head when the giraffe lowers its head. So it doesn't get a head rush when it puts its head down, which is a good thing. Giraffes have very good eyesight. They can see something moving over a mile away. Sometimes one giraffe will keep watch while the other giraffes lower their heads to drink water. Other grazing animals come to the water hole when the giraffes are drinking because they know their tall neighbors can see trouble coming a long way off. Giraffes, like cattle, are ruminants. Their stomachs have 4 sections. Food mixed with saliva is swallowed whole. Then the giraffe brings up a lump of food, chews it, and swallows it again. This food is digested when it reaches the 4th section. So it's kind of like a cow. Like I'm sure you've heard that a cow, their food comes back up and they chew it again because their stomach, that's how they can get all of the nutrients out of plants. Whereas we humans don't do that, but we can't get the nutrients as effectively. Our stomach has to do different things. So their digestive system works differently. Acacia leaves are the giraffe's favorite food. The leaves are about 3/4 water and provide moisture when there aren't any lakes or water holes nearby. The giraffe's tongue is about 18 inches or 45 centimeters long. The length of the tongue makes it easy for a giraffe to reach the top of the acacia tree and pull off small leaves. The sharp thorns surrounding the leaves don't bother giraffes. Why do you think that might be? Maybe they have a really tough mouth? Every giraffe has its own unique color pattern. Some giraffes have large, straight-edged spots that are close together. Others have irregular spots that can be jagged or smooth. A few giraffes are a single color. Giraffe's short hair always looks clean, even though a giraffe doesn't bathe. Instead, it licks its body. With its long tongue, it can even clean its nose and ears. Oxpecker birds help groom the giraffe. These birds walk up and down the giraffe's back, eating insects and getting rid of dried skin and loose hair. A newborn giraffe stands about 6.5 feet or 2 meters tall. Its neck is very long compared to its body. While she goes away to eat, the mother giraffe hides her baby in tall grass to protect it from predators such as lions. Few lions or other animals attack a young giraffe when the mother is near. She strikes them with her strong hooves. Her blows injure the attacking animal so badly that it can't harm the young giraffe. After the first month of life, all the young giraffes in the herd are left together in a sheltered area while the mothers search for food. Sometimes a babysitter is left with the young giraffes. Young giraffes play games and gallop after each other while they wait for the return of their mothers. There are a number of threats to giraffes. The human population is growing in Central Africa, where most giraffes live. Both giraffes and people need more land. The people need food, and giraffes can provide large quantities of meat. In the past, too many giraffes were killed for their hides, tail hair, and meat. Droughts and disease have also reduced the number of giraffes. Other factors favor the future of giraffes, however. Farmers and herders have learned that giraffes don't eat the same grasses that cattle eat. Sometimes giraffes can be seen eating leaves while cattle graze around them. Giraffes don't usually eat the crops that people grow. These amazing animals attract tourists from all over the world. The tourists spend money. They need food and places to stay when they come to see the giraffes. This means more jobs for Africans. So, it doesn't say what country, but for people living on the African continent where the giraffes are. Today, there are laws to protect giraffes, and some land has been set aside for giraffes and other animals. If giraffes are to survive outside of zoos, people must continue to preserve giraffe habitats and find ways to protect these gentle giants. All right, so if we look here on our paper, we have every giraffe has its own unique color pattern, and as soon as I saw this, I wanted to color it. So maybe that's something you can do when you're done if you feel like making some cool giraffe patterns. You can see here that there's a picture of a giraffe. It's probably easier to see on your page than it is on mine. And then there's another picture of a giraffe. Personally, giraffes fascinate me. They are very cool animals. So now we have read the article. We're going to answer the questions about giraffes. So it says, write 4 facts from the articles that contain measurements of length and weight. So that should be pretty easy to find. I'm going to go through with my highlighter. Just going to zoom out and then maybe you can see more of what I'm doing. So I'm going to go and I'm going to highlight measurement facts. Oh, here we go. Average. So this is how tall they are and how much they weigh. Okay. All right. Now we can go through these peaceful. Oh, this is talking about their necks, that they're 8 feet or 1.5 to 2 meters, 6 to 8 feet, 1.5 to 2 meters long. Okay. Now, oh, it can add another 2 feet or 60 centimeters. There's lots of these facts to choose from, guys. Oh, does it say distance? Nope, measurements of length and weight. So I'm not going to include, this is talking about the different distance, how far it can walk in an hour. That wasn't what the question was asking. Oh, there's another one. But we do talk about the, measurement. Sorry, I was just double checking the question. We do talk about the measurement here of their heart. So the heart that does all this work is about 2 feet or 60 centimeters long and weighs about 24 pounds. Okay. Now, looking at the tongue, it talks about the giraffe's tongue over here. I'm just scanning for numbers. So I look, okay, numbers. Numbers. The giraffe's tongue is about 18 inches or 45 centimeters long. Okay. Done. Now I go here. Every giraffe has its own unique color. Okay, reading down, I'm scanning for numbers. Oh, I see numbers here. A newborn giraffe stands about 6.5 feet or 2 meters tall. That is a fact that we could use. And I scan and I don't see any, so I'm going to scan through and make sure there's no other numbers that I'm missing. Nope. So now I've scanned through and I've highlighted the facts that talk about weight and height. And I can pick any 4 that I want. So maybe I want to say, I'm going to write mine in meters. This is an American resource. We don't usually talk in feet when we're doing work at school, just because I'm supposed to be teaching you what's it called? Metric. So I'm going to write these in metric. If you choose to write them in feet, that's fine too. Okay, so 4 facts from the article that contain measurements of length and height, or weight. So I'm going to say 4.5. 4.5 is written as 4.5 to 5 meters is the height of a giraffe, of a female giraffe. Is the average height. Height of a female giraffe. Okay. Now, my next fact could be that their necks, I could also just talk about the male. So a male giraffe is 5 to 6 meters. 5 to 6 meters is the, I'm going to write in handwriting, otherwise we're going to be here all day. Average height of a male giraffe. And you can pick any facts, guys. You don't have to just pick my 2 facts that I have here. You can go through and I want you to pick 2 more facts about the measurement of length or weight of the giraffes. Now, looking here, there's some facts here in your first paragraph. There's facts about their necks. There's facts about their heart. They talk about their tongue. These are all measurement facts that you could use. So you can go and you could write that their heart is about 60 centimeters long. Their heart weighs 24 pounds. There's 2 facts right there. Or the giraffe's tongue is about 18 inches or 45 centimeters long. You can pick any of those. So 2 more facts using length or weight. We're not talking about distance. There's one about how fast they can walk, and that talks about distance, but we're looking for length and weight, okay? So you're going to do 2 more here. You're gonna come up with your own fact for here and your own fact from here from the text. Again, you can look here. I've got right here, there's one about the heart. There's another one about its head, which is 2 feet tall. There's another one about its tongue, which is 18 inches or 45 centimeters. Now, I know I said that we work in metric. You can copy down imperial. You could say 18 inches. I'm leaving that up to you. Okay, now, number 2. What traits do giraffes have to protect them? So, we've talked a lot about the things. We're going to go and actually find the part that talks about that. So, to protect them, farmers and herders have learned, so that's this paragraph here. They talk first about the threats. So these are the threats to giraffe. But over here they talk about what is going to help protect the giraffes. And farmers and herders have learned that giraffes don't eat the same grasses as cattle. So the type of food they eat, they don't eat the same grasses. And if you think about it, if you were a farmer and you were trying to farm, I mean, you might think, who could herd a giraffe? But this is a beautiful, majestic animal, but it's also, if you're trying to farm and there's an animal eating all your crops, you're not going to be letting that animal live in your space. You're going to want to get rid of it, right? However that looks. So they don't eat the same crops as cattle, and that's going to protect them. The same crops, I'm going to say as cattle or humans, because they say they don't eat humans as cattle or humans. You could also say their camouflage, so their pattern, their color pattern helps them blend in. Helps them blend in with the grass. That makes it harder for predators to spot them. Okay, why do other animals come to the water holes and drink when they see a giraffe is there? Well, we were reading and we found out that since giraffes have such good perspective, they're so tall and they can see so far, they can sense danger. So giraffes are good at spotting danger. Giraffes are good. And why do you think that is? Well, I think it could be because they're so tall. I know I can see over a lot more things than some people. At spotting danger. Because they are so tall. Okay, how do oxpeckers help giraffes, and how do giraffes help the oxpeckers? So let's just go double check. So, looking here, we have to scan until we see oxpecker. So I think that was about grooming. So here it is, okay, talking about their color patterns. There it is. A giraffe's short hair always looks clean even though the giraffe doesn't bathe. Instead, it licks its body with its long tongue, and it can even clean its own nose and ears. Oxpecker birds help to groom the giraffe. The birds walk up and down the giraffe's back, eating insects and getting rid of dried skin and loose hair. So it doesn't say specifically how the giraffes help the oxpeckers, but we'll start with how the oxpeckers help giraffes. So they pick off bugs and dead skin. And what do you think they do with them? Well, it says right there, eating. So the giraffes are kind of like providing them with some food. So oxpeckers, I believe they're a bird, eat bugs and clean off dirt and dead skin from the giraffe's back. Okay, and in return, I'm going to put a comma. In return, they have a place to sit and eat. And it's probably a safe place, right? It's off the ground, away from predators, so they have a safe place to eat. All right, the human population in Central Africa is growing. How does that affect the giraffes? So they did talk a lot in the passage about people needing more food, and then so sometimes they eat the giraffes, because think about it, that's a lot of meat, or people needing places to grow food. So giraffes are losing habitat. Giraffes are losing their habitat. That's happening to a lot of animals all over the world, losing their habitats to human development. To human, let's just say to humans, because it's farming, it's houses, it's everything that's being built there. And then humans also eat giraffes. Humans hunt and eat giraffes. So the human populations are definitely negatively affecting the giraffes. So human, I'm going to say human population growth. That should have gone at the beginning, but that's okay. Negatively affects giraffes. All right, how are tourists helping to save the giraffe population? So it did say in the book that a lot of people come to see the giraffes because they're such a unique animal and they can only be found in the wild in one area of the world. So people bring tourism money. So tourists. Now, if you were trying to plan, you would want to, and you were the government of a country where there were lots of giraffes, you would want to protect the giraffes if all the giraffes are gone, there goes your tourists, right? Tourists give countries a reason to protect giraffes. A reason to protect giraffes. Because they can make money from the tourists. All right, what is being done to help giraffes? What is being done to help giraffes? So just looking here, right here, they said there are laws to protect giraffes and some land has been set aside for giraffes and other animals. Okay, if giraffes are going to be able to survive outside of zoos, people must continue to preserve giraffe habitats and find a way to protect the gentle giants. So going here, to protect them, there are laws. I'm guessing it doesn't say, but maybe there are laws against hunting them. Let's just say there are laws. That's all. It doesn't tell us what the law is, but there are laws to protect giraffes. And there are, they're called, they said some land put aside, but that's usually called a nature preserve. So there are nature preserves for them to live on. And that's where people can't develop or hunt. Preserves for the giraffes to live on. To live on. All right, now there's another side, guys. So if you want to skip this right now, I'm looking at my video timer. This has been a long ELA video. Feel free to come back to this side later. Go take a break, go get a drink of water, go do something, and you can come back to this later. I'm gonna go over it right now, obviously. So we're talking about the vocabulary. Now, vocabulary are words that are specific to giraffes or words that would be specific to what we just read. So these are words that we learned in the passage, and we are going to match them to the definition that makes sense. So extraordinary, irregular, blood vessels, habitat, ruminant, graze, moisture, and crops. Now these are big words. Crops you've probably heard before. Moisture I know we've talked about in science. Habitat we've talked about in science. And these other words you may have heard too. So let's go through and we'll try to match them as best we can. So the first one is plants grown in fields by farmers, and those are crops. C-R-O-P-S. Now, B, tubes in the body where blood flows. Okay, so those are, well, there's the word blood. And if we look up here, which one makes sense for that? Well, what about blood vessels? That is what a blood vessel is a tube in a body. Blood vessels. All right, C, an uneven shape. So looking here, which one seems uneven or irregular? I-R-E-G-U-L-A-R. Okay, uneven shape. I'm going to cross out irregular because I did that one. I'm going to cross out blood vessels because we've used that one. Now I'm going to move on to exceptional, extremely unusual. Well, extraordinary. Extraordinary. E-X-T-R-A-O-R-D-I-N-A-R-Y. A cud-chewing animal. Now that is a ruminant. So that's an animal who their stomachs work differently than ours. Like I said, they kind of partially digest food and then it comes back into their mouth and they chew it for a bit. So that is a ruminant animal. So like a cow. A lot of grazing animals that have to subsist only on grass. In order to get all of the nutrients they need, they actually need to chew the grass and digest it a few times. Okay, now, where does an animal live? It lives in a habitat. Habitat. Water or liquid is moisture. Okay, my next one, to feed on growing grass is to graze, like an animal will graze. Oh, and I already crossed out ruminant, graze, G-R-A, oh, I'm realizing I'm not showing you this. graze. So let's go through and we're going to read each one and make sure it makes sense so you know your definition. So plants grown in the field by farmers are crops. Tubes in the body where blood flows are blood vessels. An uneven shape is an irregular shape. That's actually a word we'll see in math. Exceptional or extremely unusual, that's something that's extraordinary. A cud chewing animal is a ruminant animal. F, where an animal lives, is its habitat. Water or liquid is moisture. To feed on growing grass is to graze. Now, number 2, what word in the article means a person who travels away from home to visit different places? So, a little bit of a hint, we talked about how these people bring money to places where there are giraffes. And that word that we're looking at is a tourist. So maybe you have been a tourist before. If you've ever traveled to a different place and you're there just to travel somewhere different and see something different, you are being a tourist. You're just traveling to go check out stuff. Traveling for fun. Okay, a tourist. T-O-U-R, like touring. And then ist, I-S-T. Write the word from the article that means to rapidly run. So to run fast. Whew, I remember reading something about the giraffe and how fast they could run. Remember I said, oh, we don't need to know that for our, so let's look here. We don't need to do that because it's not length or weight. But look, the giraffe's legs are twice as long as his body. The front legs of the giraffe are longer than the back legs. The giraffe's back slopes downward slightly. Shoulders to the back leg. With these extraordinary legs, the giraffe can walk up to 10 miles an hour. I don't think that's the word we're looking for. It's not walk, but it's another movement word. When it's in a hurry, it can gallop at speeds up to 35 miles an hour. Gallop is the word we're looking at, and usually we think of horses galloping, but giraffes can gallop too. G-A-L-L-O-P. Gallop. G-A-L-L-O-P. Now, write a word from the article that means a person who cares for and watches cattle and other grazing animals. So I'm guessing this is going to be towards the end of the page where they talk about farmers. Okay. So we're looking for a word of someone who looks over grazing, who watches over grazing animals. Other factors favor the future of giraffes, however. Farmers and herders. Herders, that is a person who watches over grazing animals. Herders. H-E-R-D. That's like herd. I'm herding up the cattle. And then E-R-S. Some of you might have herding dogs. They're dogs that love to herd other animals or small children. So that is your ELA for today. I apologize for the length because I'm looking at my video and it's half an hour long. And I know it's going to take you even longer to do this. So please know that you can break this up because I think your math video is also at least half an hour today. So you are welcome to break this up if you need to, okay? So if you want to do half, if you did it in different times, that's fine. Now, it is in your class notebook. If you go on to Teams, you can actually submit this. You could read this whole thing on your class notebook, see all the pages, and you can submit it to me by writing directly onto your notebook in Teams. If you prefer that to printing it out, go for it. If you did print it out and you want to submit it to me, you can take a picture and put it right into that page on Teams and click submit, and there you go, you're set. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful to you. I apologize for the length, but this is a little bit different comprehension for today. You did it. You made it through. Now on Thursday, there's no official assignment for ELA. So if you spent all of your ELA time on this and you're done and you think, I don't have time for spelling, then congratulations, you have a day on Thursday just to work on spelling. If you spent all of your ELA time on this and you said, I really want to do some journaling to get today, well, congratulations, you have journaling time on Thursday. If you need something more on Thursday, I will be putting something in our class notebook. Okay, so I will be putting an optional assignment in the class notebook, and I will let you know where to find that. So I hope that was helpful. Remember, if you were maxed out on your ELA for today, then Thursday is a I don't want to say a no assignment day, but it's a catch-up day. So you can do some spelling on that day or listen to the novel videos on that day if you're just done for today, okay? If you want, there will be a novel video live today and another one on Thursday. Anyway, have a great day. I will see you later. Bye.